Good morning, Nigeria, and welcome to the Seed of Life Television Global News. Today, I'm Michael Tani, and with me in the studio is Sarah Bliss. Sarah, how are you today? How's your day been?
Thank you, Michael. How are you too? Good day, Nigeria and the world at large. I am Sarah Bliss, your co-news anchor. Together, we bring you the top stories shaping our nation and the world today. First, the main headlines. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu approves 100 kilometers stretch of the Lagos-Calabar Highway through Edo State. The presidency responds to claims that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has neglected the northern region. 2027 presidency. Atiku denies stepping down amid BBC interview controversy. African Democratic Congress criticizes Tinubu administration's foreign policy as a national humiliation.
On the global scene, Israel orders Palestinians to evacuate Gaza City under threat of being labeled terrorists. Israeli Navy detains Gaza aid flotilla, including activists like Greta Thunberg. Trump lobbies for Nobel Peace Prize amidst skepticism from experts. Also, from our business platform, the Nigerian exchange, NGX Limited, began October 2025, positively recording a 0.19% gain on the first trading day after the country's 65th Independence Day holiday. The Nigerian stock market's total market capitalization rose to about N9075 trillion, driven by increased trading volumes and deal activities. We will now take a short break, and when we return, you will be brought up to speed with the news in full. However, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please take a moment to do so now. Press the subscribe button, click the notification bell, like, share, and make your comments. Thank you.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved a 100-kilometer stretch of the Lagos-Calabar coastal highway to pass through Edo State, extending the project's alignment to include the state for the first time. This was announced by the Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, during the Edo State Independence Gala night in Benin City on October 1, 2025. The adjustment was made at the president's directive to ensure the highway runs through Lagos, Ogun, Ono, Edo, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River states. The coastal highway was initially envisioned by President Tinubu 47 years ago, but originally did not include Edo State. The inclusion of Edo adds 100 kilometers to the highway route. Governor Monday Okpolo of Edo State expressed gratitude for the inclusion, calling it a manifestation of President Tinubu's extraordinary love for the people of Edo. He also highlighted the urgency of repairing critical sections of the Benin-Suppleworry Highway described as dangerous for motorists. Minister Umahi praised the governor's intervention and the work of contractors to improve road quality. The president's intervention and commitment aim to address decades of infrastructural deficits across the country, providing durable roads with reinforced, concrete technology designed to last between 50 and 100 years.
The presidency has firmly denied claims that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is neglecting the northern region of Nigeria. These allegations were made by former Kano State Governor and 2023 NNPP presidential candidate, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, who accused the federal government of concentrating resources development projects mainly in the south, despite worsening poverty and insecurity in the north. Responding through the president's special advisor on media and public communication, Sunday Dare, the presidency refuted these claims as inaccurate and politically motivated. Dare highlighted that the Tinubu administration has initiated and continues to execute several critical projects across the northern states covering roads, agriculture, healthcare, and energy sectors. Key projects include the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Expressway, the Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway, and Diajao-Kuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline. Additionally, a $158.15 million agriculture value chain program is underway across 9 northern states, and the Kolmani Integrated Development Project is active in Bauchi and Gombe states. Minister of Works David Umahi also criticized Kwankwaso's claims as misleading and self-serving, pointing out that more than 52% of the president's flagship legacy road projects are in the north, compared to 48% in the south. Projects highlighted include the dualization of the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Highway, Sokoto-Zamfara-Katsina-Kaduna Road, Borno Ring Road, and roads funded under the NNPCL tax credit scheme. Northern youth groups have supported the presidency's stance, calling Kwankwaso's claims politically motivated and urging unity rather than divisive accusations. Overall, the Tinubu administration asserts its commitment to equitable development across all regions, including the north.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has denied reports that he intends to step down from the 2027 presidential race for another aspirant. According to his media aide, Paul Ibe, these reports misrepresented an interview Atiku gave to BBC Hausa Service. A thorough review of the interview's video and transcripts reveals that Atiku never stated, suggested, or implied any intention to step down for anyone. Atiku emphasized that young people and other prospective aspirants are free to contest the presidency. He further stated that if a young candidate were to emerge through a competitive primary, he would support such a candidate without hesitation. However, he made it clear that this support is not the same as stepping down from the race himself. The misinterpretation which some media outlets stretched into claims of Atiku stepping down is considered by him and his team as inaccurate and misleading. Atiku remains focused on his political ambitions, while also expressing openness to the participation and success of younger candidates within a fair contest.
The African Democratic Congress, ADC, has strongly criticized President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's foreign policy, describing it as a national humiliation, following the United States government's latest travel advisory that placed Nigeria at level 3, advising travelers to reconsider travel due to rising insecurity and deficient healthcare. In a statement by the ADC's National Publicity Secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi, the party blamed the Tinubu administration for failing to protect Nigeria's image abroad, exposing the country to diplomatic setbacks. The ADC highlighted that since September 2023, Nigeria recalled 109 ambassadors, but has not appointed replacements, leaving the country diplomatically sidelined in key global capitals, especially Washington, D.C. This diplomatic vacuum has worsened consular services, contributed to escalating visa and consular tensions with countries like the United States and the United Arab Emirates. The ADC also condemned the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for downplaying the urgency of ambassadorial appointments, criticized the administration's handling of international relations, including comments made by the Foreign Affairs Minister on Venezuelan deportees. The party accused the Tinubu government of reducing diplomacy to a side hustle, warned that Nigeria's absence from important global platforms diminishes its regional and international leadership stature. Furthermore, the ADC lamented Nigeria's exclusion from high-level U.S. trade talks, questioned the administration's foreign policy priorities, citing President Tinubu's frequent foreign trips as excessive and poorly timed given Nigeria's pressing security and economic challenges at home. In response, government officials dismissed the ADC's criticism as politically motivated and argued that the administration is systematically working to restore Nigeria's diplomatic influence. With ambassador appointments, forthcoming and ongoing efforts to strengthen Nigeria's global presence through ECOWAS, G20, and other international forums. We will now take a short break, and when we return, you will be brought up to speed on the latest global developments. However, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please take a moment to do so now. Press the subscribe button, click the notification bell, like, share, and make your comments. Thank you.
Audio Jungle.
Israel has ordered all residents of Gaza City, the most populous city in the Gaza Strip with about 1 million people, to evacuate southward in preparation for an expanded Israeli ground military operation aimed at eliminating Hamas militants in what Israel describes as their final stronghold. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz warned that anyone remaining in Gaza City after the evacuation deadline will be considered terrorists and supporters of terror, essentially labeling them as militants. Israeli tanks have blocked the main roads leading back into Gaza City, preventing those who have left from returning. The Defense Ministry called this the final chance for residents to flee, as the military intensifies its siege and blockade of Gaza City through widening a military route along the coast. Amid this, the Israeli Navy intercepted nearly all vessels attempting to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza, including a flotilla carrying activists like Greta Thunberg. This flotilla was detained to prevent it from reaching Gaza, part of a broader effort to control all entry points during the offensive. On the humanitarian front, hospitals in Gaza City face overwhelming pressures and have reduced operations due to constant airstrikes, with dozens of Palestinian civilians killed each day. International organizations, including the International Committee of the Red Cross, have expressed grave concerns about civilian safety and access to aid, stating that Israel, as the occupying power, must ensure civilians' protection and facilitate humanitarian aid passage. The conflict has caused massive displacement, with hundreds of thousands fleeing the city despite limited shelter and resources in southern Gaza. Many fearing continued military attacks in areas they are urged to relocate to. This situation is described as increasingly dire, marked by famine conditions, disease spread, and extensive destruction across Gaza City.
Reports reaching us indicate that President Donald Trump has actively lobbied for the Nobel Peace Prize in 2025, claiming credit for mediating and ending numerous international conflicts. He has been nominated by several countries, including Pakistan, Israel, Cambodia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Rwanda, Gabon, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, primarily for his diplomatic efforts such as brokering a ceasefire in South Asia and his recent Gaza peace plan backed by Israel and Arab nations. Since his return to the presidency in January 2025, Trump has repeatedly asserted that he deserves the prize, highlighting claims of ending or resolving 6 to 7 wars worldwide. His Gaza peace plan, unveiled in late September and hailed as historic by Trump and some international leaders, has further fueled speculation about his chances. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, the foreign ministers of several Muslim-majority countries, praised Trump's leadership in efforts to end the Gaza conflict, boosting his Nobel bid. Despite this, many Nobel experts and analysts remain skeptical. They argue that the Peace Prize usually honors individuals or efforts that promote long-lasting peace and stability. Some critics see Trump's aggressive political style, ongoing conflicts like those in Gaza and Ukraine, and his divisive global reputation, reasons he is unlikely to be awarded the prize. Experts also point out that multiple peacemakers, often lesser known or forgotten, have traditionally been recognized over controversial political figures. The Nobel Peace Prize is decided by a 5-member Norwegian committee, appointed by the Norwegian Parliament, with nominations kept confidential for 50 years. The announcement for the 2025 prize was scheduled for October 10th, and while Trump's nomination is official, it faces stiff competition and considerable doubt from the Nobel community regarding his suitability for the award.
We will now take a short break, and when we return, we will join our business correspondent, who will bring us up to speed on the latest developments in the Nigerian business market. However, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please take a moment to do so now. Press the subscribe button, click the notification bell, like, share, and make your comments. Thank you.
Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to the Seed of Life television business news segment. I am Lisa Carthy. The Nigerian exchange NGX Limited began October 2025, positively recording a 0.19% gain on the first trading day after the country's 65th Independence Day holiday. This was driven by strong investor interest across several key stocks, with 34 stocks closing higher and 26 finishing lower, indicating a positive market breadth. NOL top gainers included PZ Cousins, which surged by 10% to close at 37.95, Eterna, which increased by 9.94% to about the 7.05, Champion Breweries, which rose by 9.82% to 115.10. Other notable gainers were Tantalizers, 5.96%, and ICO Insurance, 5.43%. On the downside, RT Briscoe, minus 9.89%, Thomas Wyatt, minus 9.82%, Sovereign Trust Insurance, minus 9.33%, and International Energy Insurance, minus 7.78%, recorded the largest losses overall. The NGX All-Share Index showed strong investor confidence with significant buying interest, bolstered by sectors such as consumer goods, insurance, and beverages leading the gains for the session. This positive start to October adds to the market momentum seen in the first half of 2025, with the NGX seeing substantial capital gains and increased market capitalization. In addition, the Nigerian stock market's total market capitalization rose to about N9075 trillion, driven by increased trading volumes and deal activities. This growth was led primarily by sectoral performances in insurance, consumer goods, banking, and energy. Trading activity surged with deals up 16.68% to 32,682, volume spiking 402.5% to 6.23 billion units. The value of transactions jumped 82.57% to N5445 billion. Insurance, consumer goods, banking, and oil and gas sectors closed with positive gains, highlighting buoyant investor sentiment, supported by renewed liquidity inflows and expectations of ongoing macroeconomic reforms, attracting domestic and offshore investments. Cornerstone Insurance was notably the most traded stock, accounting for 5.45 billion units, valued at N25.06 billion. Other sectors like commodities and industrial goods saw slight gains or remained stable. Analysts are optimistic that the positive momentum may continue if reform measures persist, supporting the broader stock market rally and investor confidence. In summary, the market capitalization growth to N9075 trillion reflects active participation, positive sector outperformances, especially in insurance, consumer goods, banking, and energy, with strong trading volumes and deal counts fueling this advancement.
This is how far we can go today on this segment. Stay with us as we bring you daily global news from this channel. Thank you for watching the Seed of Life Global News Hour. Please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. Like, share, and comment on the videos. Please be reminded that our other transmission continues by 7 p.m. West African time today. Before then, the programs shall be rolled out on our social media platforms. Have a great day.